we're going to talk about monophthongization. In the last couple of videos, we have defined what a monophthong is and what a diphthong is, and I strongly recommend you go watch those videos. Here we're going to enumerate some of the key aspects of those videos, but for full context, we recommend you go watch those videos anyway. A monophthong is a simple vowel. The quality of the vowel remains more or less the same throughout its production. But the diphthong is a vowel that is a sequence of two vowels, and the quality of the vowel changes throughout its production. Usually, it's a combination of a vowel and a glide, like ya or wa. For example, by, you could transcribe it like this, or ride, as some people do, like right. So you see the ya sound is a glide. In a diphthong, the quality of the vowel changes throughout its production, but one vowel quality is more prominent than the other, and is thus the head. For example, in the English diphthong I, the A part is the head. As you can see here in these examples, by, ride, the vowel is a diphthong which consists of two vowels compacted together in one, and then one of the vowels is the head, and in all of these instances the head comes first. So there is a head plus a glide. In a rising diphthong, the most prominent element, which is the head of the diphthong, comes second. A falling diphthong is one in which the most prominent element, that is the head of the diphthong, comes first. In the same way that a falling diphthong ends in an off glide, a rising diphthong begins with an on glide. If you want to define monophthongization, monophthongization is a process in which a diphthong or even a triphthong becomes a monophthong. Monophthong, monophthongize, monophthongization. What is an example of monophthongization? For example, the pronoun I. In some varieties of English, when people speak, instead of I, they say ah, and my, ma. You can hear it even in certain styles of singing, like country music.
Toilet.
Toilet.
Ought to.
Ought to.
Boil.
Bowl.
Rice.
Rice.
Well, I say mama and I say daddy.
Mama and
I
daddy.
don't say mom and dad.
There's this famous song, The Rising Sun. So instead of God I know, it says God I know.
In God, I know I'm one.
So instead of saying my, it says ma. My father, ma.
My mother was a tailor.
It's interesting that this band, this is an English rock band from England, but they are singing something like American country style. This is an example of monophthongization in which the diphthong I is reduced to ah. We have the head and an off glide, which is I, so I, right? So what we do in monophthongization, we replace this part. So instead of saying I, you drop the off glide, replace it with some length by adding length to the head and compensate for the deletion. So I becomes ah. Some people call this smoothing. So they say, oh, in these accents you smooth the vowels. So what they mean by smoothing is monophthongization. Monophthongization can be synchronic or diachronic. When you say synchronic, it means different varieties exist side by side in different communities at the same time. Diachronic means that they exist within the same language but in different periods of its history. For example, if you say that monophthongization is a feature of Southern American English, while it is not a feature of General Standard American English, this means that English in the US has both of these varieties at the same time. It means they exist synchronically. But for diachronic monophthongization, Slavic languages have undergone a monophthongization process throughout their history, in which several diphthongs were systematically turned into monophthongs. So I to e, ow to u, and a to e. If you speak any of these languages and you know examples of these words, it would be great if you can comment in the comment section. To look at this from a different angle, monophthongization involves ungliding, which means removal of the gliding vowel in the diphthong. We learned in the previous videos, a diphthong consists of a head vowel and a vowel that is the gliding vowel. In monophthongization, you remove that gliding section. Actually, I can mention an example of monophthongization in Persian. So Persian is spoken in Iran, Afghanistan, and Tajikistan. In the varieties of Persian that are spoken in Afghanistan and Tajikistan, the word for paradise, which itself is originally a Persian word, is firdaus. Firdaus in Afghanistan and Tajikistan, but in Iran is pronounced ferdous, which would be a diphthong, but in rapid speech, it is reduced to a monophthong, ferdos. This is an example of synchronic monophthongization in Persian. Now, examples of synchronic monophthongization in Spanish, eulogio, which means eulogy, becomes ulogio, which is monophthongized. In Spanish, words like 20 or 30, which means 20 and 30, especially when they're used in combination like 22, 23, 24, instead of 20 and 30, they're pronounced 20 and 30. This is an example of monophthongization because the diphthong A is monophthongized into E. So instead of saying 32, which is 32, people typically say 32. Or for 24, instead of saying 24, they say 24. That's an example of monophthongization from Spanish. And this is also synchronic monophthongization because these are different varieties of Spanish that exist side by side at the same time.